Welcome friends, welcome back to the kitchen, welcome back to Sunday morning in the Old Cookbook Show. Today we're going to do a recipe out of this old cookbook called General Foods Cookbook. This was in a box of books that we unboxed on Wednesday of this week, sent in by a viewer. Thank you very much for sending these along. This was published in 1932, so during the Great Depression. Earlier in the Great Depression than later in the Great Depression. General Foods Corporation, of course, is a giant corporate monstrosity that owns dozens of food brands across pretty much every vertical in the grocery store. Every aisle in the grocery store at this time would have had General Foods products. 2024, not much different, pretty much the same. And so this is during the Great Depression, and this is a massive book, a giveaway cookbook to promote their products. And because they own so many different food products, a really wide range of recipes in here. Of course, every recipe uses a General Foods branded product because they want you to buy their stuff. We're going to make Grape Nuts Roast. Even though this is in the Great Depression, the recipes are quite extravagant. They really are quite extravagant for the most part. And then every once in a while, there'll be a recipe that's pulled back a little bit. And there is an entire section about those pulled back recipes for people that just, you've stretched your food budget to the very end and you can't afford a big roast beef. You're going to make Grape Nut Roast because presumably grape nuts at this point were less expensive. So I'm going to start out with 2¼ cups of milk. And hopefully I've got enough. Yeah, we're going to make it. There we go. 2¼ ish. And I'm supposed to also have 3 eggs well beaten. I'm going to beat the eggs into the milk because that just seems the easiest way to do it. And so obviously we're starting with milk and eggs. It's not vegan. It's vegetarian, but it's not vegan. And I don't know that being vegan or vegetarian was the purpose of this recipe. I think it really was about putting an economical meal on the table for those people that needed it. So just whisk that together a little bit. Although you probably could make this vegan. Use a plant-based milk, oat milk or something, and maybe aquafaba, and swap out coconut oil for the butter. I think that would work. Okay, so got that mixed. Obviously, grape nuts for grape nut roast. Nut meats, I'm using pecans because I like pecans. The only flavoring, salt, and there's quite a bit of salt there. A little bit of onion, and I've actually put in twice as much onion as called for because I think it could stand it. And a lot of celery. Okay, I'll just give that a bit of a mix. Now we add the milk and egg in. And the butter. And we'll give this a really good mix. Now I'm supposed to let this sit on the counter for 20 minutes, and I imagine that's to help soften up the grape nuts. They can be hard little critters. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that on the counter, and I'll come back in 20 minutes. Okay, the mixture has thickened up quite a bit as it sat here on the counter, so let's get it into our greased baking dish. And the instructions say to cover for the first part of baking. Now our oven is preheated to 375 degrees, and we're going to bake this for 20 minutes covered, and then bake it 10 minutes more uncovered. Huh.
Hey, Glenn.
Hey, Jules.
Hey, friends. Meatloaf.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, meatloaf. You should get yourself a fork. Get a fork.
Are you saying it's not meatloaf?
Oh, yeah, no.
I'm a little worried now.
I didn't say it wasn't or it was.
The Grape Nut, no, the box is a bit of a hint, huh? Just,
There you go. Now,
is this breakfast or supper?
supper.
Okay.
It says to serve with a parsley sauce. Now imagine, this is the Great Depression. I ran out of milk and butter to make the parsley sauce because I used the last of it in the Grape Nut Roast. So we're not having the sauce, we're just having the roast. We're going to get the full roast experience. Took twice as long to cook as the recipe said.
Well, it definitely tastes like grape nuts. Mm-hmm. It definitely has a soft texture to it.
And every once in a while you hit a little bit of resistance from pecan.
Was that what it is? Okay.
Yep. You know what? If you swapped out a little bit of tomato juice or tomato soup for some of the milk that I used and actually put some spice in it, like some pepper and maybe a little bit of chili powder, you could drop that on a table and pass that off for meatloaf.
Is it veggie? Is it veggie? Like, is there any meat at all in it?
Milk and egg.
Okay, so it's not vegan.
It's not vegan, it's veggie.
But it is veggie. Yeah, I mean, if you were doing a veggie substitute with some other flavor, because but
It has no. I mean, I don't want to say that it doesn't have flavor because it does have flavor. It has the flavor of grape nuts and pecans. Mm-hmm. But there's no spicing involved. And I think if you added a little bit of spicing,
yes,
the texture is right, ish.
Yeah.
But I think you could turn this into a good alternative.
Yeah, it's definitely in that not quite right.
Yeah.
But I suspect, yes, you could, with a little bit of, what flavors do you like kind of thing.
Yeah.
Throw it in there.
Flavor, because right now it's a blank canvas that could just absorb any flavor. Okay, so Grape Nut Roast, not a complete dud.
It needs a little help.
Needs a little work. It needs an updating. And since, we have the ability now to update it a little bit, you could get away with this and it would be quite good.
Now, of course, someone like my mom who doesn't
would love that.
would love it because she doesn't anything more than pepper and it's too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and there are people, and that our personal taste, there are people who would dig into that and devour it and go, this is great.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.
No, what are we going to do with all that?